Tuesday group, main campus, 2024 January for UGRC150. And we are going to quickly walk ourselves through our lecture 1. Then afterwards, walk ourselves to the lecture 2, which you already have content on, have engaged it, but you still may want to have clarifications on content and what have you. My name is Dr. Nancy Miles, Barford JP. For those who may not know me or may not have encountered me yet, I'm a senior lecturer of the Department of Philosophy and Classics, and currently the coordinator for UGRC150, Critical Thinking, Practical Reasoning, okay? And I'll be taking you and other groups, I think are doing group 1, group 2, correct. I don't know which groups I'm taking now because of city campus, distance and main campus. But I suppose I'm taking, I think for main campus, I'm taking groups 1, 2, 3, and 16. Yeah. Then for D, I'm taking, I think, group 1, 3, 7, and 10 or so. All right. So group 2, Tuesday group. We want to quickly walk ourselves through the content that you'll find on Sakai. Just in case you don't know how to go to Sakai, I've shared a recording at as announcement now. Yes, that shows you how to navigate Sakai. So you can engage that and do well. What is critical thinking? As soon as you hear critical thinking, words like knowledge, evidence, logic, watch the screen now, please, come to mind. Trying to give justification for the claims of knowledge that you make. You see that? So on our screen now, one of you may want to read for me very quickly, please. If you want to read, please raise your hands. Then we can let you read. I see 2 hands up, but I think they wanted to tell me they can hear. So Isaac and Nobel can do as the honors, while Susie remains on standby. Isaac, go ahead.
Okay, so critical thinking is a careful, deliberate determination of whether we should accept, reject, or suspend judgment about a claim, and determination of the degree of confidence with which we accept or reject.
Okay. Before you go on, Isaac, are you using a headpiece or an earphone?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you want to take it off and read again, and let's see if it will be clearer? Then afterwards you can fix it so you can hear me clearly. Okay. So take it off and read, and let's see. I think the mouthpiece is not too clear, but others may have a visual impairment or what have you, so they must hear us clearly. Okay. So go ahead. Critical thinking is careful. Read for me now, sir.
The careful determination that we should or suspend it about.
Oh, so sorry. So I think that is the challenge. That's the reason why you wanted to keep your headpiece on. Okay, let's take someone else. Okay, Isaac, I'll come back to you.
All right, thank you.
So, but the all right sounded fine. Read and let's see whether it's better now.
Critical thinking is a careful, deliberate.
You like that one?
Okay, so critical thinking is a careful, deliberate determination of whether we should accept, reject, or suspend judgment about a claim, and determination of the degree of confidence with which we accept or reject it.
Very good. Read the next paragraph too, sir.
So the next part says, the critical thinker is concerned about how well a belief or a claim is supported by reasons, in bracket premises.
Good.
Critical thinking expose fallacies or errors in our reasoning.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir. That was better. So our friend just showed us a working definition, something you can work with if you want to understand what critical thinking as a course is in the University of Ghana, and for which reason the course is a University of Ghana required course for all disciplines, everyone, whatever you're coming to do, regardless, you must take critical thinking. What is it? Simplified. Think of critical thinking as a skill, a training, a technique we build in you, we develop in the student, which helps the student to learn to carefully and deliberately determine whether he or she should accept a certain claim, a certain belief, a certain doctrine, or whether he or she should not accept it. And even if he or she is to accept that doctrine, what level of confidence should that person have in that belief? You see that? So it is a training, a skill, a technique developed in a student. Critical thinking, critical thought, a skill of thinking critically just means a skill of developing in you, all of us, of course, deliberate attempt to suspend our judgment, to hold on our judgment of a matter, a judgment about a claim, a belief, a political position, a religious persuasion, a cultural point of view, etc., etc. You see that? We suspend judgment about it until we have enough justification to have a certain degree of confidence. So the confidence we have in those claims based on the justification of it will vary. For some of them, we may have a certain degree of confidence in that claim. And so we can work with it for the time being. For others, we may say, no, there's no enough grounds to accept this or that. So you will see that the second paragraph now, a critical thinker is always concerned about how well a certain claim or belief is supported by what reasons. The technical word for reasons is premises. So before you get to unit 3, you already know now that when we say an argument, a point of view, you see that argument will have premises leading to a conclusion. When you hear premises, it just means reasons or evidence that is proffered to support a certain claim being made. You will see that later on sometime in unit 3, okay? But it is okay to know that now. So the critical thinker is looking at the evidence given to support a certain claim and is checking to see how well that evidence, that reason, that justification, so to speak, supports the claim that is made. That is what critical thinking basically is. And so then the last paragraph, you are able to receive the training that helps you pick out fallacies when people are reasoning, the error in the way the person is reasoning. A critical thinker is trained with that skill to detect, to expose fallacious argumentation. The word fallacy then means errors in there. So if I say, I don't think that he can be the president. How can he be the president? He's too short. Then you can see that this person is appealing to something else, attacking the person, for example, instead of giving us reasons. If I say, I think you should put a pony on my forehead. So play the recordings I give you, okay, and you have a fine, more elaborate, interaction on that. But some few to relate to. So I say, put the pony on my forehead, and a fashion designer or hairdresser. Please, when you style my hair, stylist, please put the pony on my forehead. So the stylist says, I'll do that, but why do you want your pony on your forehead? So that is what everybody is doing now. All the ladies are now doing. The question is, have you checked the size of your forehead? You always have to ask yourself that. So there is an error in how you are reasoning. The error for this particular example stems from you appealing to what everybody's saying. But everybody said, crucify him, and they crucified the Savior for the Christian faith. Okay? Everybody said it is Asimesi or Bentin for president. 4 years later, these same majority people are against that. Everybody can follow something that is projected on YouTube, and it doesn't necessarily make it anything good. It might be an unfortunate something, almost embarrassing that is projected, and it is on social media, and people will go and view. Plenty people will follow something, doesn't necessarily make it right or wrong. You are able to detect such fallacies in the way people are reasoning. We will engage in fallacies in the whole of Unit 10. It will deal with the informal fallacies, whilst Unit 6 will deal with some formal fallacies. When we advance a bit more, you see why we call some formal and others informal. But for now, just to have a fair idea of what the whole course called critical thinking and practical reasoning is about, it is a course put together to develop in the students of that course the skill of learning to suspend your judgment, to hold on with what your judgment about a matter, your decision about something until, so you wait until you have enough justification that warrants your accepting or rejecting that view. It's a skill. So that how do you determine enough justification? It will depend on what the subject matter is. So you will learn analysis. Let's go to the next slide. You learn how to analyze. Look on my screen now. Analysis means breaking down matters to its what constituent part. No, baby, you break it into its constituent part. For instance, if I say women are cheats, and you hear such examples a lot because I want things that cliches that people connect to. Then we will show you sometimes how those cliches are sick. They are not founded on proper justification. Women, as for women, it be so then they, that's how women are. So that the sister asks, does that include your mother? See how I said it? Then you are angry. But if you say women are like that, and your mother is a woman, then you made a claim about your mother from the way you spoke. By analyzing what the person said, by breaking it down. If I say some politicians are corrupt, and you are a politician with me in that studio, and you get angry and say, look at the way you're talking about us. You created a problem for yourself. I say some. If I say some are, it also means some are not. Okay, by analysis, analyze it. So analysis, the skill of analyzing, breaking the thing down, opening it out to show its implications and what it stands for, should be known by everyone in academia. You must know how to look at the next and evaluate, charge, place judgment. So when you have two perspectives to a matter, how you open it out and connect. Look, can you tell perhaps why the baby, so now I give an example from the medical setting, okay? A pediatrician wants to see why is the child not eating? He or she knows her stuff, no problem about that. Okay, look on my screen now. I'm showing you why we do critical thinking. Look, to solve practical problems of existence. So the pediatrician knows, she's trained, she's competent in her field of study, no two ways about it. The child is sitting in front of her, the child doesn't eat. Mommy brought the child to school to a doctor. My daughter is not eating. It's not a matter of going to write a vitamin or any appetite stimulant immediately for the child. No. It might have nothing to do with medicine. It might have a lot to do, perhaps, I say might. It might have a lot to do with how the food is presented on the plate for the child, for example. The banku is sitting on the plate, bam, like the wall of Gibraltar is sitting on the plate, and the oku stew with all the nyamati inside like that, very healthy, and yet the presentation may be overwhelming for the child. Perhaps that is why the child is not eating. Well, it takes 1, 2, 3 pills. She can't swallow all this mountain in front of Zerubbabel. So perhaps a critical thinker, I'm talking about a pediatrician who is also trained in thinking critically about a matter. Look on your screen and responding. He thinks about it and looks out for a response that deals with the problem, the practical problem of existence. Has an advantage over the one who just knows the competencies of her field. See that? So this person may say, Mommy, don't you think that we can try something? Let's try something. Can we do the fruits in shapes, like star-shaped fruit, so you get this cake, make-believe pans sort of thing. Shape the mangoes. You cut the mango, then shape it into a star, and then maybe the watermelon is in the shape of a circle, and so one is red and one is orange. The carrots are cut into, rectangles if you like. And then mommy takes one rectangular carrot and says, okay, your turn now. You take triangle, let me see. And the child is excited. The thing is colorful. And they are fruits and vegetables, not too pleasant to eat for a growing child initially. But because of how you are presenting it. Perhaps the child may take 1, 2, 3 and realize that it was good after all. You see, that is not a training for the pediatrician who is learning what the child's competencies about medicine around the child. It is a training, a skill of problem solving. That's a critical mind, the one who asks questions. Look on my screen, please. Learns how to ask questions, is targeted on effectively communicating and making sure that her communication is dealing with a problem of existence, solve it. You see that the options then are open to that person. Isaac, please read what you see on your screen now for me. Thank you.
A critical thinker does not ask questions, analyze or evaluate just for sake of it. The aim is to respond to, solve practical problems of existence. If not, then the whole act of thinking critically would be worthless. Thus, the cause is critical thinking and practical reasoning.
Excellent. That is the point I have made. So the questions we ask, the argumentations we proffer, we give reasons, the inquiry, those skills that we are going to learn, the techniques, the analysis that we do, all are aimed at dealing with practical problems of existence, whether in medicine, in politics, in economics, in sociology, in law. You want to punish the person for disobeying the law. That's fine. For example, so I'm now at the law court. I just left the hospital, but you want to be careful not to punish in a way that doesn't solve the problem. So the mother is a single mother with the child, and out of frustration, perhaps has beaten the child and poured warm water on the child, her own child, which is not allowed. The law is against that. So the child has burns, excuse me, and then neighbors bring the mother to court. Think around it. Maybe that warrants some 3 months, or if you like, I don't know that part of the law, 6 months, imprisonment. Let's say that's where the crime. If you take the mother and put her in prison for 6 months, which the law may prescribe, I said, what happens to that child who has nobody else, no surviving relative? So you will see that the content, the legal content in there, the judge or the lawyer or whoever it is competent in it. But administering that competence requires critical thought. It requires critical thought. It requires problem-solving skills. It requires open-mindedness. Keep looking at my screen. I'll come back to this. See, it requires all this. Analysis, an analytic skill, a skill of evaluating, judging the matter based on what? The content, and then also communication. Because if you don't do it well, then every mother will go doing that, knowing that after all, when they go, because she's the only surviving person, they'll bring them back. So what you communicate in solving the problem is very important. I gave some examples. I don't know, those who are playing the recordings on the channel already, you may have come across that. I think it might be under metaphors or something, unit 3. I said, in trying to solve a marital issue, for example, if I were a psychologist, so you see I've moved from law, from hospital, I'm now at the psychologist's quarters. Between a couple, I may say to the man, Masa, you didn't get good training because you don't treat a woman that way. Hey, you have destroyed the home. The man is there, the woman is also there. I'm saying that to the man. Maybe you are so right because you have listened to both parties, and you feel that the guy is not treating the woman, but you may use a metaphorical, figurative expression to communicate that. They say the hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. So the two of you may have to go home and return, God willing, next week for our next session. Think through what I've said as a couple. The hen also knows when the sun rises, but it is the cock that crows. That could mean the woman should shut up. She's talking too much, so that the man will be the man. That could mean the man is too dull. He should take his place. That could mean 1,001 things. Inside that seeming vagueness is a problem solving that allows everybody to go and mend their wounds and think twice about what their grandpa said to them. See that? So the way you are communicating, even in the knowledge of your competency, is inspired by how much critical thinking training you have, how you are judging the matter. I give you an instance. Okay, the person has hurt her own child, but she's only surviving relative. So if you take her away in the name of punishing her for the wrong she's done, you end up punishing the child. The child will be alone, having nobody to take care of them. See that? So you have to evaluate well, the skill of evaluation, analysis, breaking down the matter, opening it out and showing its implication. An inquiring mind, a mind that seeks to find out. Don't say we found a gun in his hand. We found a gun in his hand. What are you waiting for? Why is this guy still in there? Can't you pass the sentence? The gun can be found in people's hand and they had nothing to do with it. The cameras and the videos may be pointing to the person holding the bag of money, and it has nothing to do with whether they took the money or they didn't take it. So you have to be open-minded. You see the skills? These are all skills that are developed in the person that goes through the training that we have packaged for you, called critical thinking. So you see that some of our units are talking language, you're talking declaratives, imperatives, etc., because they are the working tools, they are the onion, pepper, tomatoes, and what have you that you are buying in the bit to prepare preparansa or banku and ukushju. In the long run, that is where we'll get to. But now we are getting pepper, tomatoes. Some of them will wash, some of them will cut, some of them will shred, some of them will scale. We are scaling some fish, we are cutting onion depth. All we put together. So we will start from unit 1, we'll get to know language, declaratives, imperatives, what have you, which we'll brush over shortly. The lecture recording I gave to the whole site had that content. So by now, the expectation is you have played it. We wanted to do some interaction, question and answer times. We'll have them there. See, lecture 2 is already given to you. So you can have your convenient time to engage, because this course is not a departmental course. It's university-wide. So if you have it close to you like that all the time, then you are able to replay it and play it again and play it again. That's what we hope we are able to help you do. Then you do well with the content, okay? So back to where I was, I just took you ahead to show you the skills that will be developed in the person in our bid to learn to solve practical problems. Not just know so much in academia, and yet our economy is the way it is. And we are economists, experts, and yet our politics is hanging somewhere. Look at Africa. They are still now 2 days ago. So I heard that some of the nations have even gone out. They have asked to exit ECOWAS. In this day and age, won't we study politics? Or we may not be doing something right. Something doesn't work for us. That is another discussion. If I do my social and political philosophy, like I always tell students, okay, the law, justice. When we say we are pursuing justice, so you will see why a notion like justice is open textured. Unit 2. It's an open textured term. Getting to unit 3, open class concept, because people will have their own understandings of what it means to be just and how are we reconciling it. If it wasn't so, then we won't go to the law court, for example. We receive judgment and someone said that is not just, that's not fair. Well, must justice be equal treatment, or justice may be equitable treatment or fair treatment? Think about it very well. Okay. It may connote several things. If I were in the queue before the emergency case came in at the hospital, the one whose heart is popping out through an accident came in, but I was in the queue at the OPD before they brought that person. My issue is pimple, because Johnny Bravo has an issue with my pimple on my feet. So I've gone to the doctor or the physician. I'm going through the procedures to go and see a doctor for medication for pimples on my skin. Apologies. Pimples are very important for someone and an issue that must be dealt with. But compared to an accident patient whose heart has popped out, maybe justice might not necessarily be treating everybody according to a certain first come, first serve principle. No, we will skip the queue. You cry, you will help us push the brother who just came in on the trolley or something to the surgical ward. Why? Because it is the right thing to do. It seems to be discriminatory, and yet, I say it seems, and yet it is wise. It is just. Someone will say, no, justice must be give everybody an equal treatment. Imagine we were racing on the field, a track event, and we are doing 400 meters. 400 meters is when we go around the field one. Then we all started on the same line. That would be unfair to the one in the outermost lane because he will take a sharper bend. It will not be just. So if it is going round the field like that, you see that the one in the sixth lane goes far ahead. And the one at the innermost lane would seem to be behind. But by the time they make the bend around the field, it will add up and fit perfectly. What I just did with you is a summation of what John Rawls in philosophy will call justice as fairness, a crude version of it, telling you that how we think of concepts. Look on my screen now, back to I'm using that to show you something. How we think of concepts, look, this conceptual clarity, there we go, is inspired by how much exposure we have to critical thinking. You are an effective speaker. You reason in a sound way about matters. Everybody is getting out of the lecture hall, and the doors have been half closed. Sometimes when I think about it, I don't understand. A big lecture hall, maybe hosting maybe 500, 300, 600 students. Then we finish the lecture, and we have 10 minutes, all of us, to move sometime from one lecture hall to the other. People are trained in critical thoughts. There are about 6 outlets, each of them paired doors, so to speak. All the students will head towards one door. That door partially closed. One of the halves is closed. The other half is also partially closed, allowing for just maybe 1 or 2 students out at a time. Then they will be pushing themselves through that hole. And I just don't understand. Critical thinking should show you, in sound reasoning, should show you that you have to, one person has to stop all of you and say, hold on. And then you open the other half of the door. Do so for all the other 6 outlets if they are allowed to be open. Okay. And then you see that within 2-3 minutes, hundreds of you will be out in a safe way, not rubbing yourselves over each other. Pens getting lost, phones maybe picked if there are any tips. We don't think there have been. We hope they aren't. You see, but everybody is not reasoning in a sound way and dealing with issues in a practical way that deals with the problem. If you take the course and you take it well, you have to impact your closest, world, and then everybody does that kakra, as part of what you have learned as a content. You will see that will make some headway as a society. That is the target. That's why University of Ghana says, look, don't come and learn your whatever content and go. Apply, add some training in critical thoughts to that specific discipline. And we have competent hands to take you through that. Okay, so conceptual clarity in the concept. I told your friends yesterday, I said, if you say we are a church, a family church, let's say you are talking about a church now. So I've gone to church. I've moved from hospital to wherever now I'm a church. And say the church says we are a family church. Who do you call family? How will you drive with your car empty out of church and into church? Is that how family members treat themselves? When you don't see me as a family member, you don't check on me. So do you mean it, or is it just a cliche? Is it a social democracy? Really? We are now in politics. Or it is a property owning democracy. And when you say it's a social democracy, what is democracy? Politicians. Democratia. The rule of the people. Is it the people ruling? We can go on and on and on. So if you were a critical mind or you have some critical thinking training and you are part of a team, a project lead at that bank, you will see how resourceful, look at the last point there, you will recognize problems. You want the woman who is so competent in doing the whatever, the financial statement and what have you in that company. She's very competent in that, but she's a mother. And she picks her children at so and so time. And the company hasn't given her a vehicle yet. Maybe it's not able to yet. But you need her to stay on to finish that thing for you. A critical thinker, trained. You may be competent in your accounting and what have you. That's fine. But you have to be able to recognize, look at the fourth point, recognize, diagnose, and solve problems for the work environment and everything. That is what keeps you in the job. That is what makes you relevant. That is what is useful, not how you can use the calculator to now chat GPT is coming. Before long, we don't even need you to come and do any calculation again. The part that makes us relevant is our creative ability to, first of all, note the problem, diagnose what the problem source is. It might just be that if you just give a small office space there that hosts children temporarily whilst mommy is mopping up after office hours, extra hour thing, then she can have the peace of mind to stay on maybe an extra 2 hours and work to finish up and meet those deadlines because she's good at it. But if she has to go and pick her own children too, she cannot. So you see, the manager who is a critical mind will be thinking about, can we have some small coffee or coffee? That is if we are sounding with international. But if we are talking Ghanaian, they are Sobolo and in Atumo. Sobolo and what? Something in the cabinet there. Just, it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, just a working space. If it toddlers, we could get 1 or 2 tables there, some crayons and what have you, working. So when the children come, or maybe tablets, just one, the company owns it, is there. That can keep mommy there. My point is, you are able to recognize, diagnose, and solve problems if you take and you allow the skills to go through you in addition to what you are learning in your discipline. Okay, very good. Last reading for Isaac, then we can, still on the introduction, beefing it up. Then now you get the whole context of the discussion. So when we say that we are doing topic 1, we are discussing sentence shape thoughts, you can see where we are heading towards, because we are now in the market buying our pepper, tomatoes, onions, but you can tell that it is aimed at doing jollof rice. You see. Then we go to unit 2, we are looking at definitions, how we make meaning. So why are we studying that unit connected to this very elaborate introduction we have given you? Because everything we are learning in academia will ultimately have to go and serve the world out there. You have to be able to be meaningful to your patient if you're a doctor, to your customers if you are a marketer, to your target group if you're an advertiser. All the things you are learning, an engineer, a politician, you have to be able to use effective speech to get everybody to be patriotic and follow a certain national agenda. It's not force. It's not I'll beat you. It's not by force. If you don't vote for us, we'll not do this for you. It's not that. You have to be a problem solver. You are giving them bridges. Maybe they want market. A critical thinker knows how to make meaning to the people. Not talk plenty, small job, small work done, but how to impact. So you see that unit 2 focus on definitions. And the reason is because you have to know how to make meaning and where to make what meaning. You want our IMF folks to give us the money, then whoever is going to make a defense for us must touch on the things that are meaningful to IMF. It's a skill. Don't bring me, I'm not an economist. I won't be able to do that. You must talk grammar, that is economics grammar. Not you and I, our own bro. No, not that. That time, at that place, you talk statistics, you talk technical, you talk theoretical definition. If you didn't play the recording, you are lost. If you played it, you say, But if you want to educate a little child to show him or her how to brush their teeth, or you want to tell grandpa who has come to your hospital and you have detected that you have some health or heart condition, You don't talk, your sickness is osteoporosis, this or that. You will kill the man with all this, your technicality. Say that when you are trying to win a grant for your outfit, the people you are addressing are experts, they will understand. If you have met my innocent mothers selling at our markets, taking care of us well there, and you want to tell them about COVID-19 and how they should do social distancing and what have you, that's not the place to go and say, you know, that the big words usually, they arrange the cosmological of the osteoporosis of that, this the narration of the auntie. You didn't help them. They will be so impressed and they'll say, brother, I know bluff, but they hate that. Go and demonstrate, act it, ostensive definition. You want to show them how we should avoid offending fire outbreaks this Harmattan season. Do some simulations in case there's outbreak here. Physically speaking, the language they understand, but also demonstrating it in a way that is meaningful. That's the unit 2 definitions. Why have I gone ahead to show you this? That on your screen now, that the aim is to solve problems of everyday existence. See? So if I showed you the liver of a drunkard, even pictorially, using pictures, that's an ostensive definition. It might come across more vivid than if I told you, if you take too much alcohol like this, the liver can twist and it will be this, and that one may not even reach the person as vividly as it would if you added the ostensive. So ostensive definitions have their role, stipulative ones have their role, etc., etc. When we get to unit 2, we'll put some flesh into it. But why should you know that? So that when we start connecting the several units, you will see that, we are working with the cells, it will form into organs, then they will be, then we now understand the whole system. So from unit 1, we'll build up to unit 2, then unit 3. They are tools, they are techniques, they are instruments, they are skills that, if put together, will equip you, make you a better academic in that specific field that you are so competent in. Okay, so we'll ask Isaac to read this, and then I think that we'll be ready to go. Isaac, please read for me. Critical thinking continued.
All right. So the course will equip you with concept, method, tools, principles, and techniques for establishing and distinguishing logical truths or logistic certainty from empirical truth, bracket, observation-based contingencies.
Very good. So linguistic certainties from the word language, linguistic language. So by the time we have given you these concept ideas, methods, how to do it, tools, working machines. Okay, we can tell you something like, if I tell you this is a deduction, this method of it is deductive, this one is inductive. So the armchair scholar, I can be in Ghana and be a consultant for United Nations, and I don't travel there. I just look at the document on my table and apply the tool of critical analysis, maybe using deduction or whatever, and then tell them that this person cannot be accountable for this because of so and so and so and that. Okay, it's a tool. Then principles, rules that underline how you are raising, so on. So we'll give you those as part of the training to do what? To help you mainly, the main thing is to distinguish truths that are logical in nature. That's the one we call linguistic certainties. They are based on the language. So it has a certain necessity attached to that kind of truth. I've made a statement, and each truth or falsity is logically necessary because it is based on the language. You don't need to be there to see. Imagine I told you that the ladies wearing suits. So those, again, I said I repeat those examples a lot. If you're playing my recordings, you will see them all over the place. It helps for understanding. I reference them a lot. Okay. So I'm in your church, then someone comes and says, Madam, please, the ladies wearing suits sitting at the back there are totally naked. Ketesia no much suit no teacher. You see, I just repeated the same thing. We be any task, ye any bata, say so much women. In a mefi, I may free, I can say, Gilish. You're totally naked. Now, what will be your reaction if you heard that? Before we go to the examples on my screen. So let raise your hand if you want to react. I see a good number of hands up. Let me lower all so that I'm sure of the hands that want to. Oh, excellent. Now I have about 40. Sorry, I'll lower all again. I want to pick out those who have raised their hands just to react. Okay, so I see Annie's hand. I see Simon Dogbeda. Hope I pronounce your name well. I see quite a good number again. Anichaba, me, Ulukwe, all of you, your hands are very good. Ella, Sari, Ophelia. Hey, 21. Samaba. So I'll call one, and then I'm sure that he or she will represent all. Charisma, actually. How would you react? The ladies wearing suits sitting at the back there are totally naked. Charisma, go ahead. Let's unmute and respond. I can hear you.
Hello, please. Good morning.
Good morning, my lady. Go ahead.
Actually, my reaction, I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you be surprised? I know you'll be surprised, but what is generating the surprise, please?
It's not a normal thing.
What is not normal about what the person said? I know what you are saying, but I want you to be explicit. That's why. What do you think is not normal about the claim that the ladies are wearing, those ladies wearing suits at the back there are totally naked? Someone should add up, eh? Okay, very good. That's a good response from you. So let's hear Ophelia. Sorry. Ophelia, what is your reaction? There are 21 hands up, eh? So bear with me if I don't call you. I understand, pa. I see all your hands. Go ahead, Ophelia. Oh dear. Oh dear. Is it Ophelia's background? Oh. Okay, hold on. Ophelia's background is very noisy. So let's take Simon Dogbeda then. I suppose maybe it's not Ophelia's, but one of you opened the microphone, very noisy. So Simon, go ahead. So Simon, unmute first. Sorry, unmute. I keep muting all. It's intentional. So when I ask you to talk, unmute your microphone, then you can talk.
Hello, madam. Good morning.
Yes, my lady. Good morning. Go ahead.
Madam, so I'll be very surprised because how can the ladies wearing suits, we know that suit covers the whole body. So how can they be wearing that and be naked?
Okay, thank you very much. In fact, the point is, and be totally naked. The problem is with the totally. So
Totally.
it could be that, and that is where you are right. Thank you so much. If they were wearing suit and perhaps it's a skirt suit, so the part, some portions of the ladies are showing, then you could say that, oh yes, it's possible that they are partially exposed. But this person says totally. The people are wearing shoes and yet they are totally. You see, I'm saying it totally naked. That one can't be true. Yeah. No matter where, it can't be true on earth, not in heaven, not in hell, not in this world or the world to come. By the logic of it, I want you to understand the difference between logical truth and empirical. By the language of it, I can be in my office. I haven't gone anywhere outside of my room, but I'll tell you what you are saying didn't happen. You see, hey, you didn't see the picture. If you only saw what I saw, it's not what you saw, what you didn't see. What you are saying is the problem. If you get that, you will see why we are so keen on deduction versus induction. That's unit 6. Deduction is purely based on language, the form, the structure. If P, then Q. P has happened, therefore Q must follow. It's the meaning of the language. It is not dealing with content, but induction is different. So when we get to unit 6, these discussions I'm having with you, you see, will be very relevant and to help your understanding and your enjoyment of the course. And more importantly, your use of the content for your own work life and everyday life. See? So if you say he is a bachelor, You are now a witness at the law court, still giving you some logical truth or falsity based on language. The language itself is the problem. It helps you tell whether the thing is already true or already false. We call them logical truths. And then the one that depends on your observation. You use your 5 senses. Either you see it, you hear it, you touch it, you taste it or smell to establish its truth or falsity. That one we call empirical truth. Look at that very well because it will help you understand factual statement versus value judgment and definitions. See, empirical has to do with factual. The thing is factual in nature. So unit 5, you see empirical versus the normative laws. Empirical laws are based on observation. We have seen it over and over and over again. So we presume that if a woman gets pregnant, she will deliver in 9 months' time. There is no logical necessity associated with that. We have seen that whenever the clouds gather at the northeastern side of the globe or whatever, of the map, it rains heavily. Meteorologists is telling you that. So he will tell you that, oh, if we look at this, the northeast winds coming from so and so, and the humidity and this. Therefore, look at the conclusion, it will rain. But tomorrow may come and it will not rain because that finding was based on the empirical observation based. It is not on the logic or the language of it. I need you to understand. That's why political, research work could fail. People said Hillary Clinton will be president at the time. All the research done pointed to her. Trump became the president. Our own Ghana, we are in a comfortable lead. It was based on research and analysis. Sure, you people are frustrated. You frustrated some people. Whether the people want e-levy or not, what is the research done and how was it diagnosed? You are the critical thinker. If you are on the team, you have to ask the pertinent questions and proffer alternative ways of thinking through. Okay? Because some of the claims, the statements, the views are logical in nature. So you don't need any further observation. It is in the language. So let's look at some examples. And then we can do declarative and move on. Very good. That was a good response. Let's have some of you read for me. So I'll call Zida Bodo now. Please be by your gadget, so that when I call you, we are over 300 now. We're ready. Grace abounds. We'll do fine. Zida, after you, Susie yourself will read. Okay. So Susie, be on standby. Zida, please read the first example for me. Thank you.
Okay, so the first one. Witness at the law court. Jail that bachelor because with my own eyes, I saw him beat his wife mercilessly. I have video evidence. Thank you.
Very good. And go and it goes on. We are asking you to pause and think a little. We haven't even started doing any much critical thinking yet. But even at this introductory level, we say critically assess the following. It means what the wide dream of think through it and let's see what you make of such a reasoning, such a thinking, such statements. And then I try to help you by putting the problematic statement in red. So you see what is happening there. This is someone witnessing at the law court. I don't want to refer to a certain recent, the court hearings, but some of them were almost embarrassing to us. Some of the things, I wasn't there, but however, when I was there, I didn't see them. They didn't let me sign that. I didn't know. How can you say that you weren't there, but when you were there, you didn't sign the thing, and when they showed it to you too, they didn't add something. Charlie, yawa, inconsistent. I wasn't in that. I have never been to JQB. Imagine I gave you that. I've never been to JQB, Jones Quarter building. Like I've never been there, but the day that I was there, I didn't even touch the laptop. You just passed, sentence yourself to imprisonment by this kind of presentation. I wasn't there. I have never been there. However, when I was there in Mpuno, I didn't even touch it. That is already false by the logic of it. We use the logical frame to tell you your statement is already false. See that? This one is like that. This is a person witnessing, maybe it's the landlady of that house. She says, I saw that bachelor. Me, I saw him. What did he do? He beat his wife, merciless, his own wife, the way this guy beat her. I have video evidence. Come and see the girl. She's here. I took her to hospital. There's a medical report. And all the things you are saying is bola. It won't wash. You nailed yourself by saying to us that the guy is a bachelor. And yet he has beaten his own wife. That can never happen. Not on earth, not in heaven, not in hell, not in this world. It can't happen. The judge is your best friend. He can't do anything. The lady's mouth is twisted. Well, sorry. But we can't do anything because he's a bachelor. How can a bachelor ever beat his own wife? That's the problem. Is the logic of it. This is necessarily false. There's logical necessity. What Isaac read for us. I put it back on the screen. Look on your screen now. It is in the language. So the certainty of this falsehood is in the language. I hope you got it now. If you contrast that with example 7, the traffic was intense yesterday and the day before. I said Susie will read for me. Susie, please read it for me. I forgot. 7. Just participate in the class. So let her read. Go ahead.
Yesterday and the day before on that day. So
Thank you.
I am not.
Thank you, my lady. It's fine. Yes, it's fine. I can understand your reception is not too good, but the content is being recorded. I do that. So when I finish, I'll share it with the class on your platforms. I'll give them to your cheese. Those who are interested may want to play. Thank you. Let's have someone else read the same thing for the benefit of our special students who may need to hear to enjoy the content. Lois Damesi, please read for me. Whilst Lois is reading, Dennis Eduse, be on standby. Okay. Very good. There are 23 hands up. I don't even know who to call. Very active class here. I'll give you all +1 in the world of forms. Go ahead, Lois.
She is the last person who left the office yesterday, so she stole the
Yeah.
laptop.
Very good. That was example 2 you read. Which one is this? I think you read example 3. Very good. That one too. It's just like the example 7. There is no logical necessity in the evidence given there that because someone was the last person who left the room, therefore we should conclude that she stole a laptop. We can't conclude that way. I may be the last person and not necessarily be the one who stole. In fact, the one who saw me to be the last person is the lastest person, if there's any word like that. Or the owner of the laptop could have stolen the laptop himself or herself. You see the various options around that. Yes. So don't say this one, we caught him red-handed. I don't care. I saw him gani. Seeing, not believing. So this one, they shouldn't make it any court matter. Instant justice. My brother. You saw this, the money entering the socks. I don't want to cite some of them, but it is going to the socks of the referee, for example. So what? Don't sisters put their, not all sisters, but some, they are very delicate items at the top area here, inside the Nugwe, brazier. Don't tell anyone I said that. In the bra. Doesn't mean they've stolen it necessarily. Necessarily is the word. They may have stolen it, but they may not have stolen it. The fact that someone was the last person who left the room is not in itself any guarantee. Remember the degree of confidence. Slide number 1. You have in the claim made. How you suspend your judgment. You hold it on until you are able to have a certain degree of confidence. We may never have absolute confidence in some of them. Others, we have them, like the bachelor who has beaten his own wife. We know for certain, 100% sure that that cannot happen. You see, so that one we have absolute certainty in it because it's a linguistic truth. The truth of falsity is based on the language. But when it comes to empirical claims like example 3, like example 7, you say yesterday the traffic was intense on that stretch. The day before to the same. So tomorrow to will be like yesterday. Oh, yeah. Why? Maybe you have good reason to believe in the probability that just like yesterday and the day before, we may have traffic situations on that stretch. It's a good argumentation, but it is not a certainty. There's still the possibility that today may be different, or tomorrow may be different because maybe the president will go and open a certain, outfit be there, do a short cutting, and so they will block all the traffic and redirect them. When he finishes and leaves for the first 30 or 40 minutes or so, the place will be free, amazingly free. When we had to bury the traditional authority, the Queen Mother. Look at how Accra, the stretches in Accra was. It was shocking. No traffic anywhere. So there are various possibilities, dear friends, when it comes to the empirical. I want you to get this. You see how much time I'm spending? If I wanted to just go through slides, it would take me 5 minutes. I would have been on the 20th slide or something. You have to get the understanding. The content must come alive. So when we get to say unit 5, and we are discussing the empirical versus the normative, and why scientific truths are predictions, scientific generalizations, I should say, are predictions. You have to be able to, so if they tell you from my 30 years of experience, whenever a patient comes to my hospital with these symptoms, they die the next 30 minutes. Since I started working 30 years ago, I'm very experienced in my job as a practitioner. Anyone that came with X, Y, and Z symptoms tested, the next 30 minutes, they die. And you two have been sitting on my desk 20 minutes now. And I checked my file. You have those symptoms X, Y, and Z. So see the conclusion. So get ready. Call the home quickly and tell them to put their everything in order. You need an estate at Awudome. You're going to die. This is not a certainty, brothers and sisters in the Lord. We respect our medical folks, all our scientific enterprise. We respect that. But the true scientist, now unit 7, understands that when I'm dealing with the empirical and I'm making generalizations, laws that are working around the empirical, I cannot present them like dogma, like church doctrine, like normative studies, like mathematics. Science is not maths. So the predictions, what I presuppose based on what I have observed are just empirical generalizations. It might turn out that very soon human beings can fly. Currently, what we know is that the human beings don't have feathers to fly. But science may prove it otherwise with time. When we keep searching, I say science may prove, science may find it to be otherwise. Because the scientist is searching and researching, the empirical scientist. So the word empirical is what I'm spending a lot of time on here to help you when you get to unit 5, for example, unit 7, for example, when we are dealing with pseudoscientific statements, etc., etc. Okay. So when we say empirical, it means it can fail. It's observation based. So this minute it is raining at Tema, may be true. The next minute, the same statement, it is raining at Tema, may be false. Because it is not in the language. The truth or falsity of that statement is not in the language. It is in what you observe out there. Okay. And so example 3 and 7 are empirical in nature. Example 5, also empirical, dealing with even cause and effect reason. As soon as the person entered the room, the light went off. Someone said, then when the black cat crossed our path, then the next minute we hit the tree there, got into an accident. Black cats exude bad omen, for example. See, what's the causal connection? Someone says it is this particular, cause that gave me second class upper. I would have had first class upper. Is it the cause that did it, or you did it? Think about it. Or if you ask some others, you might say, or some demons prevented you. What caused COVID-19? What is the cause of the constant breaks in somebody's relationship? What is causing the sudden decline in people's spirituality when they come to university? Suppose someone is doing that causal analysis. There is a space in our discussion on cause and effect reasoning. How do you account for the causes of things? Note that is already empirical. That's unit 9. Yeah, seeing some here. When I saw her now and I went for the passport, they didn't give me. That woman, she be the cause of all my problems. Meanwhile, they said get there at 3. Maybe you didn't. We want to make sure that we have covered discussions around that also. So unit 5, the question 5 on your screen gives you that. Look at example 4. She's moral because she leads a morally upright life. We thought that when we hear because, then we are going to see what the reason is. And here because, I'm going to show you supposedly what accounts for it. So if I say she is healthy because you seek to hear something like, oh, because she eats well, she eats a balanced diet, because she sleeps well, because she doesn't worry much, things like that, showing you the grounds, the reasons why the person is healthy. Now, this person on our screen, example 4, is saying she's moral because. So when you heard because, you're going to look out for what makes the person moral. And she says because she leads a morally upright life. The person didn't say anything. Brothers and sisters in the Lord. He repeated himself. There's a label that we give to that, a negative label. It's called tautology. Secularity, another name for the same thing, secularity. He went in circles. He's begging the question. These are all labels that you will learn. I told you we will equip you with tools. So if the MP, or yesterday we had some MP aspirant, whatever, voting in MPP, a political party in Ghana, okay, in their own party. So people were at campaigning, whatever. Suppose they came to your radio station, you are the news anchor, or you are the one who he says, so you want to pursue development for the nation, right? Say, yes, my constituency really needs development. The other MP maybe is not helping us, so I really want to go there and ensure that we get development for. And then the news anchor says, or the interviewer says, so what do you mean when you say development? So that's what you want to pursue for that area. You say, oh, development is when you develop the nation. and embark on developmental projects so that the nation becomes developed like the developed nations. Kwata, Ofankehu, he said nothing. But you will see that people will be clapping. And little you and I will be sitting in our corners and I said, the guy didn't say anything. He didn't give content. He just went in circles. He just begged the question. Hey, because are you laughing? He just went in circles. Didn't add anything. Didn't give you any content. And people do ask people to be accountable. If the person doesn't know development, how can he find it for you? What is critical thinking, Doc? Susie, you're also laughing at me. then I tell you, critical thinking is when you are critical in your thinking. What did I say? Nothing. He is famous because he's well known. You haven't said anything. When you say because, you have to give us a reason. You say he's famous because he's well known. All these, someone has to call them out, pick it out. They are problematic statements. When you do a critical assessment of all of them, you will see. And we will give you tools to help you see it yourself too. Either it is a fallacy or it's already tautologous, so we didn't add anything. It's a pseudo-scientific state. It's pretending to be scientific. There's nothing to go and test because it's already true. It will always be true no matter what happens in the future. Sometimes, and I'll end with that one on example 2. Can I have my lady read for me? I think I mentioned the name. If I did, please read. If not, then Daniela, I think, was who I asked to read next. Daniela, read for me. Then afterwards, Jessica will be on standby. The next batch will be brothers, okay? Daniela Sechiri. I hope I pronounce your name well. Yes, Soma. Daniela Soma. Please read example 2 for me.
Question to the rainmaker.
Great.
So will it rain tomorrow? Rainmaker. It will either rain tomorrow or it will not rain tomorrow.
This one is also a logical truth. Logical truth doesn't mean it is true. It's truth or false. It is based on the logic of it. So the first example was a logical truth, which shows us that it is necessarily false. It has necessity. By force, it's always true, okay, or always false. So the first one is always false. Because if he's a bachelor, he cannot beat his wife by the logic of it. The second one is always true. What Madam just read is always true. Because of the logic of it, the language of it makes it always true. it will always be true that tomorrow it will rain or it will not rain. One of the options will always be the case tomorrow. That's the reason. If Ghana is going to play Cape Verde, apologies for those who went to bet wrongly. And then they say, will Ghana win the match? Then you have panelists. You ask him, what do you think is the chances of Ghana? Say, oh, don't say, oh, doc, let's continue. No, this is for Unit 7. A whole conceptual difficulty that people struggle with. If they don't get the beginning well, like I hope I'm trying to do. Yeah? When you get to Unit 7, which is the substantive critical thinking proper, the content. At that time, we are now stirring the bank. It's work. It's not just cutting onions and pepper. Deduction, declarative empirical. No. At that time, you are either doing the kunte, gram. You need energy. So you should have done some work. That's why take time to help you see the connections. This example too will be very relevant to you when we get to Unit 7. Okay? So I'm saying that it is pretending, the statement is pretending to be something that you can wait and see what will happen. When you wait, you won't see anything different. It will necessarily be true, this statement, no matter what happens. If it rains tomorrow, what the person said is true. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, what the person said is still true. Why? Because of how he spoke, the language. He said it will either rain tomorrow or it will not rain tomorrow. So I was asking you, if Black Stars is going to play Cape Verde and you want to go and bet, don't bet. I issue a disclaimer, don't bet. But someone is recalcitrant, wording or something, wants to go and bet. So wants to go, Charlie, those who say you can see into the realms, the prophets and the seers and what have you. Can you look into the realms and tell me whether Black Stars will win? You just a win. Don't give me the margins of win. Will Black Star win or not? So that I will not have to bet because I need money. Those who do that. Then it's okay. Then if I look into the realms, you have to give me something to do, the rituals and what I said, don't do any of these things. I am very, very I try to be current, listen to what is going on and use them because the course is critical thinking, practical reasoning. People do that. So we have to be able to think around them and see and use them to make meaning. Okay. Now see that we ask the person who says he can see into the realms. What do you think the chances are? Will Black Star win or not? Then he tells you, oh, tomorrow Black Star will win or Black Star will not win. After he has collected money from you, I will give you a prediction. What will you do to that guy? Brothers, I'll give you a minute. You will mute and react a little, then we can mute all again. What will you do to that person after he has collected your 1,000 Ghana to give you prediction? He says, oh, the match, no. When I look into the Sunsum, I say, Black Star will win or Black Star will not win. As so sorry,
Yes.
obey this lab. The guy will talk slap. Why? Because you didn't expect him to come and give you a close set. What he has said is necessarily true. If tomorrow comes and Black Star, we say, oh, but I told you that Black Star will win or Black Star will not. If they don't, we say, I told you that it is either a win or not win. Even a draw is a not win. Because that is already true. It's a tautological statement, tautology. It's not something you can test. It's not a prediction. It's a necessity. So it is necessary that tomorrow it will rain or it will not rain. Whether tomorrow comes or not, doesn't matter. That statement is already true, logically speaking. You have to be trained to see it. The lawyers, those who aspire to be lawyers, otherwise they will do you an address and you sign document. You can even sell the whole nation and not know that you've done that. Your land document. It's a skill. You have to be trained to see through it. If you take the person to say, but I said it will rain. They say, oh, not to rain, but it's one of the options. Or is a disjunction. If one happens, it's still correct. No, why is it because you didn't apply critical thought. This is already logically true. So 1 and 2 are logical necessities. 1 is logical necessity that leads us to what? Always false. 2 is logical necessity leads us to always true. The others have walked you through them and they are all somewhat connected to the units. So when we start engaging the units one after the other, then we can always reference these to help you understand it. Now on this slide, another important thing that you should know. Please read for me. I mentioned the name. I think it was Jessica. Go ahead, Jessica. Then we can call the brothers now. Lady Jessie, please read for me, okay? Unmute and read.
Notice, therefore, that critical thinking is topic neutral. That is, it transcends discipline, cuts across disciplines, applies to all academic disciplines, every aspect of everyday life. Example, medicine, law, politics, religion, culture, military, etc.
Etc. Well done. I've said everything around this, so I don't want to elaborate. If you are doing critical thinking, it is not restricted to any specific discipline. It is discipline neutral. So every discipline will need and actually will require critical thinking skills, from bankers to military folks. So the examples that I keep referencing you to in the recordings on my channel there, I shared the link there. You can play some of them. Would you kill to say, would you lie to save a life as a man of God? Lying is not allowed ethically. But allowing or leading someone to their death or killing is also not allowed. Which one will you do? Think about it. Will you kill in obeying before completing? You obey the command of your superior as a military man, even if it will mean killing innocent children. If you don't obey, it can cause Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Suicide bomber can blast a whole nation. Your boss is saying, shoot, shoot, shoot. When you look at where they say you shoot, it's just some two toddlers sitting there. Why should I shoot these toddlers and disobey? Maybe another detonator will come off and destroy two cities, including those little children you didn't want to shoot. But if you don't know that and you shoot, you're just shooting too innocent. Maybe the boss is sick or something, the wife has beaten him, so he's not seeing well. And it's making you go and shoot something. So you are in a dilemma. Think around that. You need critical thoughts within the spur of the moment to make a decision. I gave some others, the pregnant woman across the stretch you are driving and all those ones. Play them to see how and why we do critical thinking. I'm doing it with the medical folks. Some of us go to the military folks, bankers, training, access course for bankers. But why? You need it. It's a need because the course is topic neutral. Well done. Dennis, please read for me. Thank you. Oh, Dennis, be on standby. Madam, read this also so that Dennis will, Dennis will be on standby. Dennis, you to say, will be on standby for the next slide so you can prepare. Please go ahead, sister.
Why should we be critical thinkers? A critical thinker, 1, makes better decisions because he or she is less gullible.
Good.
2, is clear about why he or she believes what he or she believes.
Good.
Brackets, following the crowd.
Atia, the third one.
3, is an effective communicator because he or she is trained to present a point of view in a clear, structured, reasoned way that convinces others. He or she can anticipate queries.
Very good. Last one.
4, is an invaluable problem solver because he or she accommodates other views, that examines, assesses, and evaluates issues on merit.
Well done. I've touched on all of them. Well done, my lady. I've touched on all of them, so I won't say much. See that? I told you it's not gullible. You say everything is passing, no hook, line, and sinker in this one. If you want the pony on your forehead, you must have a good reason why. See that? You don't just have it, put it on my forehead and style is why, because the Legon girls and are you a Legon girl? That's one. Do you have their forehead? Have you looked at the size of your forehead? You want a pony on it? I'm not Obia. This one they have to buy everybody. Why everybody? That's appealing to the masses. Everybody could be wrong. So we've gone past that. From faith to what have you. I said some of the places you venture into, they are not too comfortable. But a little critical thought may lead by find PIWC folks, Pentecost, I'm not a Pentecost person, but I grew up in that church and I liked the church for a lot of things. But I didn't like certain things then. And thankfully, with time, my critical thoughts at that young age couldn't come to terms with some of the things. Thankfully, in recent times, a lot of those things actually, not just that, I know some other denomination, but I can mention PIWC because it was almost initially like a problem for the church. Cover your hair, women will sit here, men will sit here. If I'm in Iceland, so that one is not necessarily Pentecost, but most religious groupings would have had that. Look at how the church is so, internationally accessible. It's still a holy, I believe, holy. Then I'm even thinking of coming back. Because the person is working in Iceland, Minia. How can she wear skirt? The churches that say that. She will freeze to death too. A little critical thought. Why not preach maybe decency? Emphasize that. Modesty. Than to say cover your head before you pray. That is for some other churches that I know. I can speak for church easily because that is where I know a little. Okay. Cover your head before you pray. Then I'm driving and the car is heading towards a ditch. There's some sports track. And I'm on the high into me. Then I see it. They say, before you go, Jesus help me, or God save me. Look for your scarf and your purse, your handbag. The handbag is down there in the seat. Hey, yeah. By the time I find the scarf, I'll be obituary. So cover your hair or don't cover. You should maybe, if that's your doctrine. But it cannot be like without that covering. The prayer may not go. Because before you finish praying, you are dead. But if the emphasis is, we know women can have our hair very intricate. Sometimes gele alone is piercing people's eyes and what have you. Big ears. So can we emphasize some modesty so people can concentrate? And that is why we want to cover the hair before we interact spiritually. So that's fine. That's the doctrine. It is not some access reception to the heavens. That if your hair is not covered and you call heaven, the number you have dialed cannot be reached at this moment. It's not true. It's not true. If you ask me, true critical thought. So think around that. The devil's box. When I go and do that's television or if you like internet, anything social media. So when I do my crusade is those who don't do church and go out evangelism and win people and want them to testify. Where do I want to post it for people to see? If you call the thing the devil, tell the person, groom the person, grow the person. See that to make the right choices. I put before you this day light, darkness, life, death. Choose. Otherwise, God would have created us, I believe, to be programmed to obey Him all the time. Is that what He has done? No. He gives you choice. Because He wants you to learn to, I think. That's my critical thought as well. So I'm saying that when people are merely following the crowd, they don't query anything. That fine chairman then for Pentecost Church said that, look, let's stop this. Some of the things, not stop, like let's rethink how we interpreted certain things and allow. Now you find, sister, everywhere, every time your hair is inside the scarf, the brother will go, when he comes home, he sees his mother. When he married you, his lady. Now you are like his mother consistently. Don't you know that it will create problem in the home? You can be chic, classy, and still decent and godly. Hold your then sit together as couples, and nothing should go. Shouldn't be all women here, all men here, and this. So it is just a critical relook. Holy Spirit hasn't changed, God hasn't changed, church hasn't changed for that denomination, if you like. It's just a certain relook. It didn't water down spirituality. Thank you, my brother. It didn't water it down, not at all. Check your area, your vicinity. When your stepmother tells you that boy is not your brother, you don't have to be disrespectful, but put yourself in the shoes of that brother. If it was your mother that wasn't there and you were living that, and they said, take the old soup and give him the cassava, let him eat that one. You come and sit here and you tell your mother with respect and love, mommy, please, he's my brother. Because you are just, it's not spiritual, you are just being, what, a critical thinker. It could have been you. That's all. That's what you do. Evaluate. So move from your office to church when you are dealing. Do that one so that the cause will come alive and you will solve everyday problems. Great. So we've done this slide and we've done this slide. Over. Over. The mute why? And now we can go straight to. Now you see that when we move the raw materials, we are buying the ingredients, the cells, what have you. Types of sentences that shape our thought. Look on our screen. The critical thinker cannot go into your mind. So he takes what you say and works with it to get into your intentions. If I want to know what was in your head, I hear what you said, what you say. And so you see that topic one, substantive topic one, deals with what sentences that shape our thoughts. We want you to be careful to say what you mean. Please, I'm teaching now with the slides. I move the slides as I comment. So please keep looking. Okay. Sentences that shape our thoughts. Why am I prompting? Because we want you to say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't say, this thing you have done to me, I'll kill you. If I get you, I'll kill you. The next day, they find the person that we are in trouble. If they come to arrest you, don't say, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Why should they take you seriously now? If what you said yesterday, you didn't mean it, then how should we take you serious that you don't mean what you are saying? See that it's in the recording I've given, almost repetitive. So you want to say what you mean and mean what you say. And so topic one says, when people speak, on your screen, please, everyone, keep looking if you can. When people speak, they have intentions. How do you get to the intention of the speaker? Sometimes when we speak, there we go, we are seeking information. We are seeking information. So when you say something, I can tell your intention. Sometimes your intention is you want information from me. That type of statement, I said statement. That type of sentence that is seeking information, we describe it as interrogative. It's not difficult. It's just a word you should get used to, okay? It's a question. Where is Kudu? You have to tell me Kudu is in the room. Where is your mother? You say, Mommy is in the room. If I want you to call her for me, then I'll say, call her for me. But typical us, when we say, where is your mother? Mommy! That will be sure. I didn't say that. Call her for me. I say, where is she? If you read my intention well, you will know that I just asked you to give me information. Okay. I say, so you look at the college, all these are examples of interrogatives. And that immediately tells you when I am interrogating, when I give you an interrogation, it doesn't have a truth value. You can't respond true or false to the expression, where is your mother? When I say, where is your mother? You don't say true. How would I? False. So it doesn't have a truth value. It can't be either true or false when we have an interrogative. Okay. The next one is imperative. Imperative is also a label that we give to a type of linguistic expression, a speech act, a sentence that shapes our thought. Sentence shaped thought. Which type is that? The one that when you hear me speak it, you will act. So the speaker wants the one hearing to act, to perform an action. Stand up, you will stand. Sit down, underline the correct answers. Pass me the checkbook. Read the first line. These are all what? Imperatives. They command you, because they have other names of imperative. They command you, they direct you, they instruct you. Underline, don't take. Stand up, sit down. These are all imperatives, clearly. Why? Because they elicit the performance of what an action. They make the one hearing act. So you see that the practice questions can give you an imperative and say convert it to an interrogative and stuff like that. Those are baby questions. Now, what is important for us though for imperatives, for you to know it doesn't have a truth value. When I say stand up, you don't say true. How would I, stand up, sit down, you don't say false. So it doesn't have a truth value. Statement, why do I keep saying statement? Sentences that we call interrogatives, they don't have a truth value. Imperatives don't have a truth value either. That simply means you can't respond true or false to them. That expression cannot be true or false. You can't respond true or false to them. That's what we mean. Okay. But look at the fourth example, and I would want Dennis to read that for me again. Dennis, please read the fourth example. Let me see if people are seeing my screen.
Okay, please. Could you direct me to the library?
Very good. Now, if you look at that one, you see that it comes with a question mark. So the chances are that people will think that is a question, an interrogative. It is not. If I came to your department and said, could you direct me to your HOD's office, please? Would you stand there and say, yes, I could direct you to the HOD's office? No. You didn't read my intention well. People that just don't go around asking people whether they are able to direct people to places. If I saw you, then I said, hello, sir, good afternoon. Please, could you direct me to your HOD's office? You say, oh, the HOD's office, turn right, turn left, look up, that is the HOD's office. Why? Because I'm actually telling you to direct me. I just said it in a polite way. That's all. I was polite. For example, should you not remove your cap when you're talking to your father? You remove it immediately. But I asked it. I even judged it. Would you close the door when stepping out? If you entered my office, I said, would you close the door? Could you keep quiet? Let me hear your colleague during class session. It will come with a question mark. Could you? Would you? They are all presented as if they were questions. See that? They are not genuine questions. So we call them requests. Could you? Would you? Should you? Shouldn't you? Or stuff like that. Examples I've given you. So explicitly, they are interrogated. Explicit means openly, overtly, on the surface of it. It comes out openly as if it is what? A question. But implicitly, implicit means what? Hidden. Covert, C-O-V-E-R-T, covertly, it is what? An imperative. So the question, exam question, for example, could be this expression, could you direct me to the library? Is then the options will come. A, imperative only. B, interrogative only, for example. C, both imperative and interrogative. Could be this, stuff like that. You do the option you should choose. It could be this, it could be that, because explicitly it comes across as if it is interrogative, but implicitly it is what? Imperative. So we want you to take a special note of that, even though we know that it has no truth value as well. Any questions? I'll lower all hands here. I like to do that so that when the question comes, I can clearly see it. We are on imperatives, and all we are doing is looking at sentences that shape our thought, or speech acts, sentence shaped thoughts. Okay. Francis, go ahead with your question afterwards. Okay, no. Lois, your hand is still up. Oh, I see 4 hands. So I'll take 2 of them and then we'll continue. I'll take another 2 later. James Fianco, ask your question first. I see Usu Pius and Esther's hands as well. Fianco James, go ahead.
And I'm pleased with the 4th question.
Yes.
Could you direct me to the library?
Yes.
Someone can be like, sure. What about that one too?
Could you direct me to the library? After saying sure, then what?
Yeah. Like maybe after that question, someone can be like, let's say the person you ask can be like, sure.
You know that if you ask someone 1 plus 3, they can say 13. Just because they don't know. So just so you can get the drift, the intention. Suppose I said, could you keep quiet, class? I want to listen to let me see, James here. Let me listen to James. Could you keep quiet? The president is speaking, I want to hear. And they say, yes, I could keep quiet. So you can hear the president. I can't remember what, I'll give you a slap. Because the very thing I said don't do is what you're doing. It's getting into the mind of the person through the language. But as for getting it wrong or differently, it's just like 1 plus 3. Some say it's 13. James, you can't be guided. What do? You just give them wrong and move on. Okay. All right. Thank you. Let's take a Usu Pius. Usu, go ahead. Then afterwards, I'll take Esther very quickly. Okay.
Okay, madam. So for the 4th question, could you direct me to the library? Do you go for the implicit choice answer, or you go for both imperative?
Depends on the question you are asked. It depends on how the question is asked. That's where your critical thinking should come to play. Sometimes the question is tweaked. So I give you an instance. If I said this expression could be A, imperative only. You see that? B, interrogative only. Then I gave you a C that says could be both imperative and
Both.
interrogative. Why will you go for the onlys? You see that it can't be correct if these are the options given. You have to go for the other because
Okay.
explicitly something, implicitly the other. But sometimes you won't give you the other options and you find only imperative. This expression is actually A. Then you know that we are looking for what it really stands for because it's imperative,
And
pretending
that
to
would be
be.
the implicit meaning.
Yes.
That would
Then
be the
sometimes you
implicit
could say,
meaning.
yes, please. Then sometimes the question could
Okay.
also say, a question could say, this imperative could also be, you see, so the question is already
Okay.
alluding to it being an imperative. So you are supposed to read. You see, we are trying to equip you with skills. That's sometimes I put an announcement there. A student will come and say, Doc, please, there's at site info. The time for the class is not there. I say, hey, Wofa, go and copy the announcement and please, and let us read it together. You see, that's a lot of work for me, but I would rather have patience for you to teach you a skill. So people will go and copy, and when they come, they say, Doc, please, I'm sorted. I say, you, Mate. So he says it's not there. Then please, because the person went and looked at it again. So if you become a lawyer, then you can read the document well, where the but was, where the if was, and not sell out your client. If you become a medical folk, then you don't go and put the lab, whatever, at the wrong place and disorganized life. So we want you to be particular. And so sometimes the question is aiming at doing that. This imperative is also what? Then they'll give you confusion. So you read them well and then you let your critical thinking skills come to play. Thank you very much. Very important
Okay.
question.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome. Esther, let me take yours, then we can move on. We'll do the next batch later. Oh, I think Esther's one isn't a question. Esther, you're muted though. So if it's a question, let me give some few minutes again. I'm very patient with questions because they help the class. Unless you are fine. If you are fine, then okay. So let's move on. I will take questions again. That was imperative going on. So we know interrogatives, questions, they seek information. We know imperatives, they tell you to do. Then the third type of speech act or third type of sentences that shape our thought. This particular sentence is special because it has a truth value. Why? We call it declarative. It informs, it rather gives information. Because it is giving information, that information can be either true or false. Okay. And that is why we say declaratives have a truth value. Look at the various ways of calling a declarative. It is called statement, it's called proposition, it's called assertion. So you will see that it isn't every sentence that is a statement. We have seen some sentences earlier that are not statement. They are not stating. They're not saying anything that can be true or false. Interrogative is a sentence, but it's not a statement. Imperative is a sentence, but it is not a statement. See that? But we just go to statement proper, declaratives. Okay. So declaratives are also sentences. They are statements. So it's a statement. It belongs to the set of sentences, but it's not every sentence that is a statement. And I think that is clear. A mango is a fruit, but not all fruits are mangoes. So a statement is a sentence, but not all sentences are statements. A woman is a human being, but it's not every human being that is a woman. So if you look at this very well, statement, declarative now, what you see on your screen is a subset of the bigger set called what? Sentences. There are plenty sentences. One of them is what? A statement. What about statement makes it distinct from the other sentences? Statements have a truth value. They can be true or false. Example, Ghana has a new Speaker of Parliament, etc., etc. on your screen. Now, so suppose, and we are going to do some chorus answers now. I think the class is very disciplined. I'm very, very impressed. Over 300 of you. And you are well organized, generally speaking, from different courses and different cohorts. You should keep that up. I am going to ask you all, we'll do some chorus again. Then chorus means you all unmute and talk. Once in a while, you want to hear yourself and keep you yourself active, okay? If I said the rice and stew, okay, let's use a simple one. Give me rice and stew. Give me rice. Is it imperative, interrogative, or declarative? If you play the recording, you have an answer already. Give me rice and stew. What is it?
Imperative.
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 Imperative. Very good.
Imperative.
Very good.
Imperative.
Good. You are all correct. Well done. I like to hear you all that way.
Imperative.
Well done. You multiply. Now, what about if I said, thank you all very much. What about if I said, where is the rice and
Imperative.
stew? Martin, okay. Let's continue now. People have their networks are far away. So it takes a while to hear, so it's fine. Everyone has done well. Now look at the next question. What if I said, where is the rice and stew? What is it?
Interrogation.
Interrogation. Very good.
Interrogation.
Correct.
Interrogation.
Well done. Well done. All done well again. Good. Well done. Your colleague is clapping for you. James is clapping for you. Well done. So that's also correct. Now, if I say the rice and stew is delicious, we all know then that will be information I'm giving you, so it will be declarative. See, but I'm trying to introduce something else there. What if I said rice and stew? Then now you don't know where to place it under the three because it's incomplete. Rice and stew has done what? Adding. If I had said the rice and stew is delicious, then you say it's declarative. If you are saying, where did you put my rice and stew? Then you will know it's a question, an interrogative. But if I said, take the rice and stew from the fridge, then you know it's an action-based thing, so it's imperative. But if I just said rice and stew, then it is a fragment of a sentence. Look on your screen now. It's a sentence fragment. Okay. And so rice and stew, morning dew. What has it done? If only I go to Aju earlier, it's incomplete. All these are instances of incomplete sentences. So we don't know where to place it under the three of them. Okay. If I found rice and stew on a certain pole at a restaurant, I may assume that it means this place is for rice and stew. But it is not informative enough. Okay. So it's incomplete sentence. Then sometimes, please, sometimes the sentence is complete, but it is not asking, so it's not an interrogative. It is not commanding or requesting, so it's not imperative. It is not informing either, so it's not declarative. And yet, it is complete, and it's not a sentence fragment like the ones on your screen. Wow, brilliant, awesome, bravo. I've not asked a question. I've not, you see that? So where do we place that? The person is expressing an emotion. You have to read the intention well. Ajay, that's someone saying Ajay on the staircase. When I say Ajay, you don't say true. I'm not declaring. See, it's not a declaration or a declarative. I'm not asking anything. I'm not commanding. It is my emotions that I'm expressing. You may see a sister in red, gold, green colors, and Ghana is not playing a match, but she's all red, gold, green, lip gloss, red, gold, green, earrings, red, gold, green, under a hot sun, walking on the street. You say, "Hey, I'm finished." That A is your emotion. Someone may score a goal and say, wow, wow. It's an emotive expression. Now look at the last example. The hey, who do you think you are? Let me make it even more dramatic. Who the hell do you think you are? Don't park your car and come and respond to the person. Say, I'm the child of God. You take slap. You should read the intention of the speaker well. It is an emotion. The person is expressing emotion. He's not happy. If you ask, who do you think you are? It is emotion. It's not a genuine question. Look at it. Okay, so it's an emotive expression, therefore bears no truth value as well. Any questions? Let me take the next batch of questions if there are any. So I'll lower all hands again. That's the modus operandi. There were 3 hands up, but maybe the question is dealt with. So if I lower all, if you still think you have a question, then please raise it. Okay, so let me take Usu Pius again. Pius, go ahead.
Okay, Madam, can we make the assertion that all sentences with an exclamation mark are emotive statements?
I am
or
careful about
emotive?
generalizations. Mostly is the case, but not all the time. So I want to always be
Okay.
cautious when I'm making a general claim. Look out for the particular differentiation all the time. And most of the time, because of the exclamation, if you do English, the exclamation is meant to show you that the person shouted it, or like the word says, exclaimed it. So then it gives a suggestion that there may be emotions attached to it. So that's one, to a large
Okay,
extent,
madam.
yes. But I don't like giving generalizations because you may have a particular specific instance that will not fit into the set, and then you are in trouble. Okay, but that will be my
Okay.
reaction to that. Great, let's go on now.
Okay.
We should be done in about 5 or 10 minutes or so, because I give you a little bit more detailed introduction. Now, when we have a declarative, the one that has a truth value, the one that can be true or false, we say there are 3 ways of establishing the truth or falsity of that declarative. So declaratives present themselves in 3 ways. Factual statement. Remember, declaratives are also called statements. So factual statement, value judgment, definitions. Those are the 3 types of statements, or if you like, 3 types of declaratives, propositions or assertions. Oftentimes, you see that we use declarative and statement, those words. Like me, you often call me Dr. Miles or Dr. Nancy Samusi. You won't often hear Dr. Bafo JMP, but it's part of my name. So when you see the other name, don't let it stress you. It's the same person. It's the same declarative. That is called proposition. That is called assertion. That we typically call statement. Okay. And I'm saying that there are 3 types of statements for the critical thinker. The factual statement, the one that describes, describes based on observation. So the statement is only telling you what is observable out there without putting in any interpretation by the observer. The point of view of the observer, the speaker, is not included. Look at the examples there. The car knocked down the boy. Amma is a girl. Now, the car knocked down the boy is a factual matter. There is no value term here anywhere. Anything that has to do with my interpretation of what I am seeing. The car knocked down the boy. It may be a lorry. It may have been a truck, not a car. So then it will be factually false what I reported. See, that will make it factually false. So when we say it is factual, it doesn't mean it is true. People confuse the two. Now you know one skill, one. You now know something that you should add to what you knew already. When we say it is factual, it's a factual statement. It means that we have objective ways of determining the truth or falsity. Objective means not based on the subjective point of view. It's not the speaker, my subjective point of view at all. No. We can objectively, so it's about the object. You and I and another person can all observe to establish the actual truth or falsity of that thing using our 5 senses. Nanado is taller than JDM. True or false? I want a chorus answer. JDM is John Dramani Mahama.
False.
False.
You see how we are? Now, thank you all very much. It's fine. Let's continue. Imagine someone wants to insist that it's true.
True.
It's a different sickness. Like our friend who just said, it's a different sickness. Hold on. It means the person either doesn't understand taller than, or doesn't know JDM. You see that? So we have to help him know by defining. Let's continue. You see that it doesn't matter whether you are, I don't know the things that influence people's decision, whether you're MPP or NDC, whether you belong to the cabinet or not, whether you are Chem or Dagumba, your faith, it won't matter, because we are describing. Look at the language I'm using. It's a describing. Describing what is there through sense observation. If your description fits what is there, it becomes true. If it doesn't fit it becomes false. It is raining right now at my home here. Suppose I said that. Currently, it is factually false. It's not raining. But perhaps the next minute, it will be factually true. Observation based. So being factual only means that that statement has objective means of determining its truth or falsity. See that? based on observation. So it describes what is there. Now, when we look at value judgment, the second one, that one is not describing. The word is describe. No, it's not describing. It's prescribing what should be there. That's value judgment. Look at the word, the statement that we call value judgment. Even the name tells you what it is. It judges. So that statement incorporates the viewpoint of the one speaking. So I repeated the same examples up there, but coined them to sound like value judgment. The wicked driver knocked down the innocent boy. This is what I just written. The first one said the car knocked down the boy. If you go and it wasn't a car, it was a truck, it's still something that is factually verifiable based on the empirical. You can verify that. You can't say you there, you are seeing car, but you call it truck. Then go live in the jungle. When you see goat, call it a Pepsi Cola. When you see snake, say it's a belt and wear it, and let's see if you survive the next day. Things have names. Objectively shared. Language is not an individual thing, it's shared. Okay. So when you are describing what is there, the users of the language can objectively agree or disagree. But when it is a value judgment, you are not describing what is there. You are prescribing what you interpret to be there. So look at what this person said. The wicked driver, wickedness is not out there. It's what you make of what you are seeing. That's why another person may not see wicked. They say, hey, the bold driver. Another person may see a polite sister. Another person may see an assertive lady. Why? Because when you tried to hit her bottom when she was entering the bank or security bank, the sister turned and said, don't ever try that with me again. I don't entertain such from elderly folks. Thank you, sir. And walked in. And the security guy will say, that girl is very rude. She rude. Another person may see, what? That girl is bold. Why? What are we? We are now not describing, we are prescribing. It's a value judgment because you use rude. Look on your screen now. Use good. Use wrong. It is wrong to wear earrings. For someone, that is true. For another person, that is false. It is wrong to eat pork meat. It is bad. It's haram. It is based on who is speaking. It's a value judgment. Because I'm using words like bad, innocent, corrupt, wicked. You don't see them out there. They are how the person sees it. I need you to see that this is crucial for understanding normative versus empirical, for understanding open textured versus well-defined, for understanding deduction versus it boils down to that. They're all centered around the same subject matter, extended to different level, open textured term versus and all that. Okay. So when we have a value judgment, whether moral or non-moral, look at your screen. The moral ones will have moral connotation. The expression is a value judgment because it has a value term there. But it's marks of. It has implications on what morality. That is, it speaks of the rightness or wrongness of the action having implications on human life and its well-being. It's not everything that is connected to human beings that are necessarily moral issue. Like a good boxer. Boxers are human beings, but being a good boxer doesn't connote morality. See that the rightness or wrongness with implications on human life. So when you make a value judgment on your screen now, look, which has moral implications. That is why when we call it a moral value judgment, like what? Abortion is evil. You shouldn't talk at your mother, talk back at your mother like that. You shouldn't. It means it is wrong to do that. So the wrong makes it a value judgment. Which type? The moral one. But my phone has a good screen. Good makes it a value judgment. This statement, value judgment. You see that? But it is not a moral value judgment. It is a non-moral one. So this is a statement first and foremost, because my phone has a good screen. That can be true or false. So it's a statement. Which type? It's a value judgment. Why? Because there's good there. The value term. It places value on things. Not every quality is a value judgment. Red, yellow. So sometimes I get emails like dog. So are all adjectives, when you introduce any adjective at all into a statement, does it make it a no. Red, taller than. We just said that Anado is taller than JDM. It's false. See that? But if I had said JDM is more corrupt than Anado, and I asked you true or false, you see the commotion online. Because corrupt is not an objective term. It is based on who is viewing and what the person's interpretation of corrupt is. So it will be a value judgment. And we said, if you have value judgments, it may be the one that is moral or the one that is non-moral. It doesn't have moral connotation. Examples are on your screen. Then just a tidbit in your note there. We say when you have metaphorical statement, metaphor, phantom, my mother is a tiger. Hey, our headmaster is a Mugabe. When you say things like that, sometimes they carry moral connotations. They are value, they are used to express values. So if you say that particular MP at that area, there is a so and so Mugabe, we say that in Ghana, Elembele Mugabe. We said that maybe for fun, saying that that person has remained there. It's supposed to be making a prescription of a kind. Value judgments don't describe what is there. They prescribe what ought to be there. Pre means before, scribe, right? Before you write, before you even looked at all, you had your own interpretation. So it's a prescription of what should be there, not what is there. Factual statement is a description of what is there. Okay, and then definitions give you the meaning of the unknown word. So if I said a bachelor is an unmarried adult male, then you don't know bachelor, and I use unmarried adult male to help you know bachelor. That is how you learn. You see that a lot of the examples I'll give, I give you something you can relate to, and then I translate that to show you the new thing I'm trying to point to. I say, oh, if my name is Nancy and I'm called Miles, and so you say Dr. Miles, but if you see Bafo Jimfutu, it's my husband's name that I have taken on as part of my name. Then after I said, I'll tell you, therefore, when you see declarative statement, propositions, what have you, don't say, I didn't see statement in the options. So the answer wasn't there. But there was proposition there. If you didn't see Dr. Nancy and you saw Dr. Miles, you say the answer wasn't there. So I moved from the known to the unknown. I use what you know to help you know what you don't know. When you have a definition, there is always the part that is not known. We call that one the definiendo. Look on your screen now, a bachelor. The presupposition is that you don't know bachelor, but you know what? An unmarried adult male. So I tell you, if you don't know bachelor, look at what? An unmarried adult male. The definitions then is what I point you to, because you know that one. Look at an unmarried adult male to help you know what? Bachelor. If you get the connection, the logic behind definitions, then you will see how you can diagnose definitions easily in unit 2. Too broad, too narrow, circular or big, it will come to your fingertips. Because if I say a dog is a 4-legged animal, the logic is if you don't know dog, look at a 4-legged animal and you know the problem you will have if you go by that kind of definition. When you see goat, you call it dog. When you see cow, you call it dog because of how I gave you meaning. So we'll diagnose that in week 2 when we engage the discussion on lecture 2 a bit more closely. Okay, play the recording. Play it because some people are still coming in. They are now finding their way around. Some they don't know Sakai. They think Sakai is a man be somewhere. So we have to be patient. When you coordinate things, you have to apply the critical thinking to it. That's what I'm doing together with my colleagues. So you go on with the content with lecture 2. When we meet, God willing, next week, we'll do the lecture 2 proper and then intertwine it with lecture 3. Some of you have done even the lectures 4 and 5 implicitly in the way I'm discussing with you. The slides are also there already in your resource too. And then I'm waiting, maybe the 3rd week we'll put there the soft text for referencing. But you should have something that you're going to reference on. So work with the slides for now, the notes and the recordings and the class interactions and tutorials. And you should do fine. This slide is already dealt with. Distinguishing sentence from statement. I've told you that. So sentence is the bigger set and the statement is one of the sentences. Okay. And then maybe we will later learn facts versus values. Any quiz. I enjoyed myself. Alima, you have a question? and Safo Kwame. Let me take those two and then maybe we call it adios.
Okay, madam.
Yes, please.
Good morning, madam. Please, what I just wanted to say is, please do and drop some questions. We want to see how questions are framed under this critical thinking.
There are plenty questions in the. There are plenty questions in the slides. Work with them. Okay, just started. Before you break your teeth. Okay, work with them. Work with them, sir. Ask your colleague, turn this declarative into an interrogative. Let me see. Tell them, can you coin a metaphorical statement? Give me an expression that is both implicitly imperative and explicitly interrogative, and let's see. Do those things. Okay? Because critical thinking, the team, you have a very seasoned team. The team that work on critical thinking, we set the questions don't set us. So I don't like when people are looking for proposal. Okay, but work with the content. Do some twisting and turning. Attend the tutorials. Your TAs are very rich as well. They will help you with practice questions. Okay, when we advance a bit more, you will do fine. You will say. Thank you, sir. That was Safo Kwame. Welcome, sir.
Yes,
welcome.
madam.
Let me take Alima quickly. Alima, I have to enter another class. Okay, they won't understand that I was in a class. Like you wouldn't understand if I delay. Okay, so let me take Alima to.
Madam.
Yes, my lady. Go ahead.
Yes, please. I wanted to ask if the value judgment has a truth value, like because it's someone's opinion.
Yes, the answer is yes. Just that the truth is subjective. They are all statements. All statements have a truth value, but the truth depends on who is speaking. That's why if you are not with that person, don't. If you ask an NDC person, typically speaking, permit me to use those examples. Whether Nanado and JDM generally, who is corrupt? What do you want the person to say? You are the panelist. This question you're asking the person, do you want him to say that it is JDM who is more corrupt when he is NDC? So as a critical mind, if you go to the field to do your questionnaires, you have to have that in mind. You are doing your research in, let's say, Ketu South or Bantama, not towards the political season. What are you expecting? So because the values, the orientation, if you went to an Islamic area during Ramadan period to go and find out how people patronize pork meat, what are you expecting? That is haram for that group. So if you go and do feasibility studies, and it turns out that there are a lot of people need to do the values that the people hold influence the decision. That is what you as a critical mind must be mindful of. In the same way, if you also went to a maternity ward to listen to how women address their husbands when they are pushing baby out, and come and say, okay, women don't respect at all. When what you went to do, you went to do the research at labor ward. Do you know how people is all people when they are pushing babies out? Kofi Papa, God will punish you because of the labor. She's pushing baby out. When she finishes, she'll be looking for Kofi Papa to give the baby. Say, me, I don't want any womb. Take away my womb. Take away my womb, bro. Take away my womb. She doesn't mean it. So a critical mind will have to have all that in perspective when they are analyzing, examining, whatever. Okay, my lady. So there is truth there for value judgment. It's just subjective. Okay.
Yes.
Good question.
Thank you.
James Hosi, you're welcome. I have two more. Please bear with me. After that, all the others I won't be able to take. You can send them to me by email. I'll respond to it promptly after my meeting, the faculty meeting. Let's take Lumo and then Simon, and I'm done. Lumo, Charles Seta, go ahead. Charles Seta, please ask your question. Unfortunately, I cannot hear you loud enough. If it's problematic, don't worry. Just send an email. I'll respond to it. Okay. Then I can take Simon now. Simon, do better.
Okay, please. My question is: the factual statement can be either true or false.
Yes, because it's a statement.
It does not
all
depend
statements.
The truth of
all statements can be either
the
true
truth
or
or falsity.
It's objective. It doesn't depend on a specific speaker's point of view or political party or cultural persuasion or religious whatever. That one doesn't come in. I may be MPP, but it doesn't make Nanado taller than JDM, for example. She go taller than is not
the factual. Please, I'm
Go
talking
ahead,
about a
sir.
factual statement.
Yes, but I just gave
And
you
please,
one. If I say Nanado is taller than GD, do you remember that example?
yes, please.
Is that true or false? Factual. Is that true or false?
Please, it's false.
Why? Why do you say so? You don't like Nanado? You see that it has nothing to do with liking or not liking. It is just what it is out there by observation. But if I asked you whether Yaya is more beautiful than Ajua, that one would depend on whether she left you yesterday. If she dumped you, how can she be beautiful? You won't see beauty. No matter how she polishes, you won't see beauty. Because that one is not objective. It's how you see her. See, because of the word beauty, beautiful. So I'm saying that factual statement, the truth or falsity, is not dependent on the subject, the one observed. It's not dependent on that. You understand that one?
Yes, please.
Okay. In other words, it is true or false independently of the one viewing. That's why that truth is factual in nature. Does that help a little?
Please, okay. Yes, please.
All right. So
Yes,
so
please.
play back and then engage the earlier recording. I will see if I have to pull this one down again. I don't want too many recordings on the same thing. Then you have to be doing so recording all over the place. It will take much of your time. But you can play it back and then work on it. Thank you all very much. You can send me all your queries later by email. I'll react to them. I had a good time. I hope you did also. We'll meet God will next week. Polish up maybe the first hour or so on Unit 2 and then do Unit 3. The Unit 3 slides are in your resource 2 on Sakai. You go there, you get it. Thank you, Usu and Pius Asante. Thank you, Lois and everyone. I see your nice reactions. Thank you. I wish you well. Have a wonderful, blessed week till we meet, God willing, next week. All the best. Bye for now.